everybody, welcome to my kitchen.
Today we're going to be talking about making these chicken leg quarters that you find everywhere at every store. It's the cheapest way you can buy chicken. I bought these for $5.90 per 10-pound bag of leg quarters. That's a pretty amazing price, 59 cents a pound. It's hard to find any kind of meat for any less than that. Today I'm going to be discussing one way that I like to spice it up, because when you have too much chicken, you have to do things to change it so you could enjoy it in other ways. Otherwise, you're just kind of chickened out. You know what I mean? Chicken, chicken, chicken. Every day. So, today we're going to be deboning these leg quarters, and then we're going to be marinating them in two different kinds of ways. And also, I'm going to talk about what do you do with the bones? What do you do with the extra skin and the fat and things of that nature? You shouldn't waste it, you shouldn't throw it away. There's actually good stuff in that you can use. I like to save some of the bones for soup. I like to save all the fat and all the skin and all the stuff that I wouldn't eat. I like to make chicken bouillon out of that. That is, I'm not gonna say organic because the chicken itself isn't organic, but it doesn't have anything in it like that you can't understand. You know, when you look at the chicken bouillon that you get from the store, it's pretty disgusting that you can't even understand everything that's in it. It's got MSG, it's got spices or whatever, which I'm sure are innocent, but they won't tell you what they are, and that's kind of annoying. So I'm gonna show you how to make your own chicken bouillon with the waste from these leg quarters, so you can get the full use out of it. One thing that we need to talk about is knives that you're going to use to do this. I like to use fish fillet knives because they're super sharp. I find that when they get too dull to sharpen, I mean, I really suck at sharpening knives, but it's the year 2021, and if you go to Walmart, you can get a fillet knife that is so sharp, it'll blow your mind for $2.88. I got this on Amazon for $6. I got this on Amazon for about $6, and they've been pretty phenomenal. I'm not the best at sharpening knives, so what I do is I just basically try my best to understand what makes a knife dull. What that is when you first get it, the knife is perfect. It's perfectly sharp. And if you had a microscope and you looked at the edge, it would look perfectly sharp. And now, even though I've used it a bunch, a lot of it is still perfectly sharp, but there's some of it that has been smashed in and it's had the perfection kind of messed up, and it messes up your cuts. So this doesn't sharpen the knife. It basically just stands those pieces back up again and makes them so that it doesn't obstruct your cut and make your cut as hard to make. So you should use this pretty much every time before I get busy. And I just slightly tilt it and pull it to make sure I travel up the whole blade. So that's a quick tip. Do this every time. And if your knife is too dull and you don't know how to sharpen it, you don't really have to know how to sharpen it. You can just take your butt down to Walmart or Amazon and pick you up a new knife for nothing. Throw this old thing out. You know, who cares? And I know I make stuff about saving money and all that, but with knives, it's not safe to have an unsharp knife because you can hurt yourself because it can slip. This is one thing I don't care. I'm going to spend the money on this. $2.88 at Walmart is nothing. I usually pick up 6 or 7 of them, and that's how I do that. So anyways, we're going to get busy on this chicken. So the way I do this is I get a system going. I take the bag of chicken, I put it in my big ass sink that I have right here. Then I got my cutting board right here, my old faithful, funky looking cutting board. You can scrub this thing until you're blue in the face. It's always gonna look like this. I go with the plastic instead of the wood or any other kind of marble or glass type cutting boards. And the reason why I do that is because it doesn't hurt your knife as much. You're gonna press through it, you're gonna scrape on it, and I'm trying to make this knife last as long as possible. We've got the bones that go like this. One goes down and one goes this way, and then you have this bone right here. And this is one of the harder bones to remove if you don't know what you're doing. So this is the one that I like to remove first. If you look at the meat, you'll notice there's this plate that's covered up by a thin layer of meat right here. You just got to get under that. Once you get under that, you can start pushing down a little bit and crunch through the bone, and then slice out like so. I like to use this for chicken soups because it's got a nice bit of meat left on it. It's got the oyster on it. I take that and I throw it in the sink to get bagged up for some other recipe I'm going to show you. Then I look at the chicken and I see that there's this nasty piece of skin right here that I wouldn't want to eat. It's just skin, there's no meat with it. So I go ahead and get that going, cut that off, and we just chuck it in a little pot. We just keep doing that until we get all the skin in the pot, and I'll show you what to do with that to make the bouillon. So what we're doing here is we're basically just cutting along the bone one way and then the other on both bones. And once you slice open the meat, and you'll begin to expose the bone underneath the flesh, and you can feel it right there. And what I like to do is I like to just pop it out like that. See how I just popped that out? Super easy. We pop it out, pull it off, and there we go. So now we still have the thigh bone in place, and we got to get that thigh bone out, and then we got some cartilage. I like to leave the cartilage in because it doesn't slow the cooking process, and honestly, I like to crunch the cartilage. So I think it's got good nutrients for your body in it. So I don't really take out the cartilage, but you can if you like. Anyways, I get the knife underneath the bone and slide it up. Then I got the bone kind of exposed like this, and I start working around it like that. And this is the safe way to do it so that you don't cut yourself. And once we get down and around the bone, I get in between that cartilage and just go ahead and slice it off. Boom, done. So now we've got ourselves a nice steak. Meat in. Let's go ahead and get the next one going. Okay, and we just get ourselves a nice process going, and it makes it go nice and quick. Cut the skin off. Throw it in the rendering pot because we're gonna render the fat on that. Here's the chicken butt. Throw the chicken butt in the rendering pot because it carries a lot of fat in it. There's that. Hear that plate? We're gonna get underneath this plate and just slice off the bone. See how we did that? Super easy. And we simply slice, pop it out, slice, then we grab it like this. See how I'm holding it? Got fingers under the bone. And we stick the tip of that knife where you put your fingers through. Slice up, pull it down. And there's no bones. Next, let's do it again. I'll show you how fast I can pull this baby off. Here's your fat and skin that you don't want. Cut that off. Throw it in the rendering pot. Get underneath this bone. Slice this bone. Follow that bone all the way up. Take the bone. Oh, this one wants to be a pain. Okay, so sometimes you're gonna get one that wants to be a pain, and you're gonna have to do it a little bit different. So what I like to do is get my thumb underneath it so it goes all the way through. Take my knife, stick it through the hole I created with my thumb, slice it out. Slice it out. Follow the bone down. Follow the bone down. Don't try to be like me. Don't try to go fast. You might hurt yourself. make sure you be real careful and don't cut yourself because that would really suck. And yeah, you don't want to do that. So again, you take your fingers and you feel the bone on the thigh. You stick your finger around the bone on the thigh. You cut one way out, and you cut the other way, and you go ahead and free that bone, and boom, done. So we have another problem one that was difficult. It took us a second longer, but we got her done. Okay, so I got 20 pounds of chicken deboned, and I got the bones all bagged up. When I make chicken soup or chicken curry lentils or other various dishes I make, I like to throw the chicken bones with the meat in them. My chicken skin waste in this small little pot, and I'm gonna render it down and turn it into chicken fat for bouillon making. We're gonna do the teriyaki chicken marinade first, and in order to do that, we're just gonna make an improvement on the typical teriyaki sauce that you'd buy from the store. You can use any teriyaki sauce you like. At my store, there's Kikkoman and some other off-brand I'm not sure I was gonna like, so I just went and bought the Kikkoman. It's only $2.50 for this bottle. Anyways, we're gonna be using this, and we're gonna be improving it to make it more tasty for the chicken. So the first step in doing this improved teriyaki sauce recipe is to go ahead and take the teriyaki sauce and dump you a bunch in the blender. When will I stop? I don't even know when I'm gonna stop. I don't really do a lot of measurements. I like to eyeball things and taste them as I go, because I think that's how you're gonna make the best recipes. Because if it didn't taste right, you just make an adjustment. I like to add a little bit of avocado oil to my marinades. Fresh garlic into the mix. More the merrier. Fresh chunk of ginger. Now this piece is a lot more yellow and a lot more fresh. You see the difference? That's how I select ginger. This is the winner right here. Smells so good. I love ginger. A lot of people will peel off the skin of the ginger. I don't really feel like doing that, so I'm just gonna wash it. And so you know how big of a piece of ginger I'm putting in. Here's my thumb, here's the ginger. I know it seems like a lot, but I love me a lot of ginger. Into the blender it goes. And now, you gotta taste test it. Okay, so the oil gave it a richness. The garlic did its thing. The teriyaki is the teriyaki. You know what it is with the teriyaki. And the ginger just really gave it a flavor that you're not gonna get with just teriyaki sauce by itself. This is a 500% improval on this teriyaki sauce. This takes this teriyaki sauce, this $2.50 teriyaki sauce, and we just turned it into a $10 bottle of teriyaki sauce. Oh man, I want to put that on some salad dressing. I want to. Man, there's somebody. I almost feel like it's too good for the chicken. That's how you know you got something good. When you take a taste of it and you just gotta have a little bit more because it makes your mouth so happy. I like to marinate in bags. The reason why I like to marinate in bags is because when you marinate in bags, you get all the air pockets out of it, and every piece of chicken is being touched by marinade. So the chicken cannot escape the fluid, it cannot escape the marinade. Whereas if you put the marinade in the bowl, there's gonna be some pieces up high, and then all the marinade's gonna settle down to the bottom. You're gonna have to stir it. So I like to put mine in bags. So now we're gonna split this marinade up between the bags, and before I give it all to this raw chicken and I can't taste it ever again, I'm taking another bite. I can hear Samuel L. Jackson trying this, and he'd be like, bitches! That's exactly what I hear when I try this. It just fires my brain up. Yeah. Anyways, Sam, if you're watching this, I'm dedicating this chicken to you. And if we're running just a little bit low on liquid for these, I can throw a little bit extra sauce in each one of these, no big deal. Go ahead and do that. And boom. It ain't vacuum sealed, but I guarantee you, every single piece of this chicken is covered in marinade. Okay, so now I'm gonna do some kind of spicy freestyle vinegar oil marinade that's gonna have garlic, chili, some kind of onion, and some seasonings. And yeah, we're just gonna throw it together. Garlic in the blender. You never really can have enough of this garlic. Some limes. I like to loosen the juice up in the lime. Oh, and by the way, you don't see it in the editing, but I clean these counters in between having the raw chicken and whatnot on them. If you're thinking to himself, boy, I haven't seen him clean them countertops once, that's because I've been cleaning everything constantly in between cuts. I'm gonna take the zest off this lime, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm only getting the green. It makes it taste amazing. Oh yeah, there we go. Lots of juice. I want you to try an experiment and do it without measurements. Do it by taste. You almost can't go wrong. Throw a little handful of some cilantro in there. Avocado oil. Go ahead and chuck that in there. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw ginger in this one too. I can't avoid the ginger. Ginger is so delicious. Why not? Ginger in. Let's put some balsamic vinegar in this. Why not? Got our shallot. Chunk it up. Throw it in. I need some spice on this, so I'm gonna roast serrano peppers right here on my stove. Blacken that skin. All right, so we got these lovely roasted peppers. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the tops off of them and throw them in the sauce. If you want to make it less spicy and you just want the pepper flavor, you can cut these peppers down the middle and take a spoon and scrape the seeds out and then just throw the rest of it into the blender. But I want mine spicy. So I've got oil in there, I've got vinegar in there, I've got my shallots in there, I've got garlic in there, I've got ginger in there. I'm gonna put some water in there too. So we got marinade. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this rough Himalayan salt and I'm gonna throw it in there while the blender is running. This marinade is looking beautiful, tasting very nice. It's almost not spicy enough, but we'll let it ride. Wow, that's fucking crazy. I can't stop eating it, but it does need pepper. So, we'll go ahead and put a little bit of fresh cracked pepper in there. And I'm also thinking maybe some coriander. Let me smell it and see if it smells right. Yeah, we'll hit it with a little bit of coriander. And also a touch of some cumin. I want to give it some earth flavor to it real quick. Let me blend this up again and I'll have it right back. All right, it was that quick. We're gonna give it another little taste. Okay. I'm unbelievably satisfied with that. When you try this, you're gonna wonder why you never had this in your life. And I'm gonna save some of this for salad dressing, because this would be an incredible, delicious, healthy salad dressing. All right, off to the refrigerator to marinate for a day or two. When you marinate things a couple days in advance, you don't have to make this mess all over again. So if you do this like once a week, once every other week, depending on how much chicken you eat, you can really have an easy, simple life with the cooking. All you have to do is take out your prepackaged bags and you can have yourself a little... nice and juicy. Okay. So, they say that if you marinate a piece of meat, the marinade doesn't go all the way through the meat. It only permeates the outer, say, 1/8 of an inch of the meat. I'm calling nonsense on that. That's total BS. There is meat through this entire piece of chicken. I mean, no matter where I bite it, it tastes like teriyaki. Check this out. Under $12 in 40 minutes, and you get yourself 20 pounds of delicious chicken. If you add the cost of the marinade, with the garlic, the ginger, the oil, and all that other stuff, we're still under 15 bucks. So $15, we get 20 pounds of chicken, a lot of boneless, marinated chicken, and believe me, it's every bit as delicious as it looks. Matter of fact, it's better than it looks. So, I'll make you suffer through me eating this whole piece. I gotta say, this is some of the best chicken I've ever made. Try and stop me. Teriyaki chicken steaks. Alright, y'all, let's get to that bouillon. Chicken bouillon isn't just chicken, it's also flavorings. So I'm gonna take some bay leaf and throw it in there. At this point in time, I'm gonna go ahead and add some fresh rosemary to it. And we're not going to grind it up or anything like that. We're just gonna stick the sprigs of rosemary in it, and then we're gonna remove them. We're trying to just infuse it and impart the flavor of the rosemary into the chicken fat. Chicken grease is very flammable, and if you leave your fire on too high and walk away from it, it might be dangerous. Have a nice low heat, something like that, and just let it take its time while you render the rest of the fat out of that chicken skin. All right. And I'm pressing the skin and getting all the oil out of it. Okay, so we pretty much got all the fat out of that. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add some water and salt to it. I'm calling it bouillon, but it's not really bouillon because it's not a powder or a cube. It's like a bouillon paste. I've seen other ways of making this, but I really like my way better because it's not as hard as the other ways. They're cutting up celery, they're cutting up carrots, and they're baking it, and they're just doing all this stuff. They're using actual chicken that they could have been eating. I don't want to do any of that. I want to use the stuff that would have gone to the trash. I'm trying to get every last morsel out of this chicken in the best way that it can be utilized. I usually only use Himalayan pink salt, or I use Redmond's real salt, or I use Celtic salt from France. And we are going to salt this quite thoroughly, because remember, bouillon has a lot of salt in it. So, and this is a flavoring, it is but a condiment. I'm going to take a little bit of celery salt, throw that in there. Okay, so we have our pot deglazed, and we have our different salts dissolved, the celery salt and the pink Himalayan. And now we're going to go ahead and put in some nutritional yeast, because it gives it a special flavor that I like to add to the bouillon, and some additional nutrition. This is what nutritional yeast looks like, and you can get it on Amazon fairly cheap. I'm going to go ahead and use like a heaping cup, maybe more, just depends on how. Give it a taste and see if it tastes like some delicious bouillon from the store, or even better. This is better than bouillon, just so you know. Now I'm gonna add everything to the blender and get it all blended up. And I'm gonna put the chicken fat in the blender as well. And you know what, I wanna put some more nutritional yeast because I just like it so much. So we'll do a 1.5 cups for me. You don't have to be exact about this. It's just what you like, really. Taste as you go. So we have this really creamy looking bouillon sauce, but I want you to know that it's going to solidify when it gets cold in the refrigerator. So funnel on, pour it back into the jar. And that's what we end up with. We just go ahead and put that in the refrigerator, then it'll solidify. You could scoop it out with a spoon as you go and add flavor to every meal. Just because you're on a budget, it doesn't mean that you have to eat like crap. There's so many ways to take this low-cost chicken and turn it into things that you can actually utilize in your life that are much better than what you could buy in the store. So I hope I've shown you a couple things that you can use in your life that will make everything a little bit more tasty for a little less money. Thank you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.